I will explain about sheet resistance in VLSI. Internally, in chip designing process, every transistor internally is having a sheet resistance. For example, if you consider a transistor, that is MOS transistor. So this is the symbol for MOS transistor, having source, gate and drain terminal. So this is having internally, that is sheet resistance or some standard resistance is there. Of course, it is also having, that is capacitance C, internal capacitance C. Per a square, how much resistance A is having? That is the sheet resistance per a square. So that is defined as how much resistance is there in a transistor. Internally it is having some resistance, internal resistance and internal capacitance. That sheet resistance is equal, RAB is equal, that is rho by T into length by width of the sheet, ohms. This is the resistance, sheet resistance per a square. This is also named as, that is we can standard resistance ZS. Length by width means you can assume that this is the RS, standard resistance, and length by width you can assume that is ZL for a simplification. So this is the standard resistance, sheet resistance per a square. I will explain clearly. For example, how much standard resistance is there for a given transistor? So this is the length of the length per a square and width per a square. So as I said, that is RAB, resistance between A and B, is equal, that is resistivity by thickness of the sheet and length by width of the sheet, ohms. This is the sheet resistance, or else you can assume that is standard resistance multiplied with, that is ZL. Simplification, we can write it as RAB is equal RS into ZL, RS into ZL. So this, I will take the one example here. So what is saying in the table, you can see this, for a NMOS transistor internally having 10 power 4 ohm resistance for 5 micrometer design rule. For 2 micrometer design rules, 2 into 10 power 4 ohm, that is ohms. For 1.2 micrometer design rules, the resistance is 2 into 10 power 4 ohms. 2 into 10 power 4 ohms. So this is the internal standard resistance. He is saying that. I will tell you, I will explain. If it is a PMOS transistor, this is the internal resistance. You can say this, what is the resistance? For example, if you take a CMOS NMOS inverter, what is the resistance? What is the resistance for the given inverter? We need to find the resistance for this inverter. So this is the length and this is the width. This is the length and this is the width. And here also this is the length and this is the width. So as you know that the resistance is defined as, that is RAB is equal, that is rho by T, RL standard resistance into standard resistance multiplied with ZL. ZL means length by width. So here standard resistance for this is a NMOS transistor. In the table we have seen that is 10 power for NMOS transistor, 10 power 4 ohm for 5 micrometer design rules. So 10 power 4 ohms multiplied with ZL, length by width, given that is 8 by 4, 8 by 2. So is equal 10 power 4 into 4. So is equal, that is 40 into 10 cube we can write, therefore 40 kilo ohm. 40 kilo ohm. So this is the top transistor. This internally it is having, that is 40 kilo ohm resistance. And for this, what is the resistance for the standard resistance? We need to find RAB equal to RS into 10 power, that is ZL. RS means standard resistance in the table. We can see this. For a NMOS transistor 10 power 4 ohms, we can write it as 10 power 4 ohm multiplied with ZL, length by width, 2 by 2 is equal 10 power 4 means we can write it as 10 into 10 cube equal 10 kilo ohm resistance. Therefore total resistance equal 40 kilo ohm plus 10 kilo ohm is equal 50 kilo ohm resistance for this inverter. So this is the case. We need to find the resistance, internal resistance, by using standard sheet resistance formula. So every transistor application will not change. Always the transistor application is it amplifies the given input signal, but every transistor is internally having some resistance, that is the standard resistance for the given transistor. So for that we need to find the sheet resistance for a square, that is called as standard resistance, sheet resistance. Thank you.